everyone, welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Friday. It is June 10th, 2022, and this is episode 221. My name is Carol. My Ravelry name is Knits and Pearls, and I am coming to you from the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada, which is just a little ways east of Vancouver. I hope you are all well and that you've had a good week and a half or so since we last spoke. For those of you who are used to my craft room background, today I am recording from one of our downstairs spare rooms. It is still morning and the window right beside me looks east, so I have much better light in this room at this time of day than I do in my craft room. Plus I get to look out on the backyard, see all the flowers and birds, although that can be a little bit distracting at times, I confess. So yeah, it's Friday. Happy Friday. I don't know about you, but I love Fridays. I think it's the anticipation of the weekend. So before I get into what I've been working on, which includes 2 finished projects, I am going to announce the latest winners of the Year of the Stash. So for those of you who might be new, the Year of the Stash is a year-long make-along which is taking place in the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group. There are 2 different components to it: a general Year of the Stash where you, a chatter thread where you just chat about everything that you are making from stash this year. And then also there is a monthly personal sock yarn club in which you can enter up to 1 pair of finished socks that you have knit from stash. So many of us have gone through our stash at the beginning of the year and set aside 12 skeins specifically for this purpose, but you can do it any way you like. It just limited. You can chat about as many socks as you like in the chatter thread, but 1 finished pair per person in the FO thread. So just a heads up too, I am expecting a phone call, but I thought I would go ahead and start recording and get as much of that done as I can, just because my morning is disappearing from me as it tends to do. Okay, so first winner is from the general Year of the Stash chatter thread for May. So I went from posts 1141 to 1397, and random number generator chose post 1353. So that was I'm gonna guess Blide, also known as Bente from Norway. Now, one thing is you're probably cringing at my terrible pronunciation of your name, username and real name. And I'm kind of intimidated now, thinking every time I try and pronounce a Norwegian name when I'm knitting with Arna and Carlos yarn. Just knowing there is a Norwegian out there watching, but doing the best I can. I would ask my Norwegian brother-in-law how to pronounce all of that, except he's not here right now. He's on vacation visiting his new grandson. So, Bente, I hope that's how I say your name. Congratulations. I will be sending to you this fun shopping bag, which is All You Knit Is Love, and thanks to that, all I've got in my head now is all you need is love, because of course that's a play on it. So this shopping bag, and then this little progress keeper, which I'm not sure if you can see in the light, says knit fast, dye warm. So Bente, please send me your mailing information, including your phone number, please, because I need it for the customs form, and I will get this into the mail to you as soon as I can. All right, now for the Personal Sock Yarn Club winner. So first up is the chatter thread. So I drew from posts 3 through 86. I've sort of taken some off at the beginning and end that belonged to me. And so random number generator chose post number 20, which is, who is GC Yarn Girl. That is Jan from Ohio. So congratulations, Jan. You have won up to $25 US in patterns that are giftable on Ravelry. So please send me a private message on Ravelry. It's Knits and Pearls. And I will get those patterns that you choose into your inbox as soon as I hear from you. So congratulations to you. And finally, the winner for, and this would be for April's Sock Yarn Club, because you have two months to knit your socks. So for April FOs, for the Personal Sock Yarn Club, I drew from post 2 to 21. Random number generator chose post 17, who is Handmade Studio 11. That is Wendy from Toowoomba, Australia. So congratulations, Wendy. I think it's so cool to know there's someone in Norway and someone in Australia, and I know there are other people from around the world that watch, and that's just a really cool thought to know that there's someone way across the world watching this humble little podcast. In any case, Wendy, congratulations. You have won this project bag. Look at these adorable knitting sheep. Aren't they beautiful? Look at the flowers. I love this fabric. And then I'm including this little progress keeper to go with it. So again, please send me your mailing information, including your phone number, and I will get that off into the mail very soon. So congratulations to all the winners. For those who may be new to podcast, or I feel like I might have said this already. Anyway, you can join in anytime. Just go to the A Stitch in Time podcast group on Ravelry and read the first post in the pertinent threads, and that will give you all the information you need to know to join in the make-along. So I hope that you will do that. Okay, finished projects. I'm so excited. I have 2 projects that I have finished from my Fibronyph Dyeworks Winter Magical Holiday Countdown collection that I received back in December of last year. And so if you're watching the last few weeks, you know that I warped up my loom with part of my minis, and then I used another Fibronyph Dyeworks skein of Bedazzled to do the weft, to do the actual weaving with. And that colorway was called Don't Tell Him It's a Rainbow. So this and the socks I am doing not only as part of the Year of the Stash, of course, but also the Fibronyph Dyeworks Meow, the Make It Your Own Make-Along. And my theme that I chose for myself is the 4 seasons. And so obviously with the winter theme to the yarn, it fits right in. Anyway, without further ado, look at how my scarf turned out. I wish it was sunny. It would really brighten up those colors because they're not as dull as they're showing on screen. This turned out exactly as I had hoped it would. I had arranged the minis sort of by color groups and did 3 sets of 24 across the warp so that I would have the impression of stripes. And then the Don't Tell Him It's a Rainbow colorway is a striped, self-striping colorway, and I really wanted to achieve the look of plaid, and that's exactly what happened. So, oh, there's a little sun coming out. Oh, I hope it comes in here well enough to really brighten things up. So I'm going to come close. I'll show you my twisted fringe because I'm always so pleased with how that comes out. I'm just going to cover up my face here. You can see all the different colors that went into the warp. And then I'm just going to do a whole length of the scarf just so you can see how it wove up. Yeah, I can just cannot express how very, very pleased I am with this project. It's everything I hoped it would be. So it's plenty long. I always do a long scarf because I really like to wear my scarves like this most often, and then I tuck that into the V of my coat. So it's just the right length for that. It also makes it easy to wear it like this, where you kind of fold it in half, bring it through here, and then sometimes I give that a twist. This was a neat trick I learned one time. You twist that little loop, and then you can put your other end through there. And it lies nice and flat. So, yes, I can't wait to start wearing this, but I'm gonna have to wait until next winter, unfortunately. But yeah, until then, I've just had it out where I can admire it, I'll be honest with you. Was just so happy. As I wrote in the, I think it was in the year of the stash thread, I just squeed when it came off the loom. As I unwound it from the loom, I was like, yes, 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 turned out exactly as I wanted. So super, super happy with that. And then what I did the last few years when I've had the Fiber Nymph Dye Works holiday collection, I have knit a pair of scrappy socks with each day's colorway. And because this year I'd started a cowl with the minis, decided it wasn't what I wanted to do, and then I set it aside. I didn't want to use up any of the yarn with socks, just in case I needed that yarn for another project. So once I had used up what I needed for the warp, for the scarf, I did start knitting a pair of scrappy socks, and I finished those also. So there's all 24 colors of the collection. I started from the toe up, and then I did the heel also with one of the colorways. I had just enough to do the toes and the heels, and then I just did the cuffs with the final color and basically divided it in half and did the ribbing till the yarn ran out. So I'll bring this up a little bit closer so you can truly appreciate. And it was so fun to kind of discover all the colorways over again, because I put them back into their individual envelopes, and every time I'd start a new stripe I'd pull it out, and so it was like reliving the December reveal every day. And the only thing is I didn't have to wait for another day to pass before I saw it. I just worked, you know, as I saw fit. And then what was I gonna say? Oh, it was just fun to see them knit up as opposed to warped on my loom, because they look totally different that way. And plus I didn't arrange it in colorway the way I did on the loom. So there's, you know, blues all over the place or red all over the place in no particular order. So you can see, I think a little bit, yeah, you can see a little bit of a jog here where I joined the yarns in. That doesn't bother me, it's minimal there. You can see it's the side that doesn't have the join, but it's pretty subtle and I don't care. They're just for me, and I didn't try and do anything other than the way I weave in my yarns. I didn't really try and hide that at all. So yeah, so 2 projects out of my Winter Magical collection, 2 more projects for the Meomel, and I do still have most colors. I have probably 2 to 3 grams left of them, and they'll get used in some way at some point. I've put them all back in their envelopes, put them all in a big Ziploc, and I'll do something else with this yarn one day. I just don't know what. Probably work it into a scrappy blanket of some sort. It's probably what's going to happen. Because I really do want to make another one of those. I just don't know when. I haven't decided on which pattern to use for it either. Let's see if my tea is still hot here. Yes, it is. I had started recording, and then my mom phoned, and then she had someone come to the door, and so I'm waiting for her to phone back. But I know it might be a little bit, so I thought I might as well go ahead and keep on going while I wait for her to call back. So my socks for my June Personal Sock Yarn Club. I am knitting from, here we go again, I'm gonna butcher the Norwegian, and Bente is gonna be cringing. It's the Arna and Carlos Lofoten collection from Regia. And this is color 3880. I think maybe it's pronounced Rust, R-O-E-S-T, and it means rust. But what it really is very red, which I love. So here is the yarn in ball. And I'm doing both socks on 2 separate needles concurrently. And I think I'm actually pretty well at the same place on each sock. There you go. So that's how they're knitting up so far. This was one of my favorite ones in the collection, and so it's been fun to see it knit up. Love that yellow with the red and then the blue. Haven't decided what I'm doing with the heels yet. I might pick out one of these colors. I can feel a fiber on my lipstick here. I might pick out like the red or the black and do a either a short row heel or a traditional heel flap and gusset with one of those colors. Haven't decided yet, but anyway, really like how they're knitting up so far. It's a fun colorway. So these are just my, you know, anytime project when I don't need to pay lots of attention. Speaking of which, in the last episode I said that I was anxious to cast on something that was a little bit more complex because I had been doing a lot of just plain stockinette and just a lot of socks lately. So I did cast on a sweater, and that's down here. So pardon me for looking down here all the time. I've got my show notes where I can see them resting on a stack of bins holding Barbie things. This is the room where we keep all the grandkids' toys for when they come play. Well, mostly just our younger grandchild now, our youngest granddaughter, I should say, because the other kids are a little old for a lot of stuff that's in this room. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. So I've got it in my quilted bag here. The umbrellas are very appropriate because, again, we have not been able to string more than 1 or 2 days of nice weather together. It absolutely bucketed yesterday for most of the day and evening. Today it is not exactly sunny. There's a little bit of blue sky peeking through, but it's mostly just overcast. But hey, it's not raining. I'll take that. So I have cast on this sweater by Mary Annarella of Lyrical Knits, and it's called Yellow Brick Rodeo. So I thought this was kind of fun. It is, it's color work, but it's not stranded color work. It's mosaic color work for the yoke. The rest is just stockinette. And you know, you can choose some really fun variegated yarns to use. I went stash diving, as you do. I came up with these 2 skeins of Fiber Spates yarn. It's Vivacious 4-ply. Whoops. I've had these for years. 2 skeins of it. It's colorway 80. I can't even read that. It's too little. What did I write down in my notes here? 80607. The colorway is Deep Aqua, which I wouldn't know if I would call that aqua. The color showing up is pretty accurate. So I'm looking around because I need a Kleenex. And I know I put one here. There it is. Sorry, my nose is dripping. Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it aqua. The color's fairly accurate there. Anyway, I had 2 skeins of this, and I'd had it set aside for a long time with another skein of yarn that kind of does a fade with a shade of blue that's similar to this kind of a creamy neutral background, and then it gradually gets darker till it's like this. And I thought I might do a sweater with that yarn one day. And when I pulled it out, really thought about it, it didn't match as quite as well as I thought it did. And then I also tried it with another yarn, but it wasn't enough contrast. So I ended up settling on this one from Flock Fiber Studio. One thing with this lighting, I can tell it's blowing colors out a little bit today. No, it's pretty good there. I got this as part of a Knit City winter themed yarn box. So this is Take a Hike sock in the Frozen Dawn colorway. Whoops, just dropped it on the ground. I'm not going to pick it up. So I thought, oh, this will fit in with my Meomel theme of the 4 seasons. It's obviously a Frozen Dawn, occurs in the winter. But yeah, I thought there's lots of contrast, and I liked that the kind of aqua and blue was picked up in this yarn. So I'm still working on the yoke, but it's nice. It's just every 2 rounds is just plain knitting, and then every 2 rounds is just slipping and knitting. So it's quite simple. Once you get the rhythm of the particular round, it knits up really quickly. So I'm just going to stretch this out so you can see. This is the front of it. You can see those beautiful pastel shades kind of showing up there. And I don't know how well you can tell in this, but the lines kind of do a bit of a zigzag as they go down. And plus the spaces between the vertical lines get a little bit bigger as you go. A little bit of sun peeking through. I don't know if you can tell. Anyway, this has been a nice, quite a fun project to work on. One of the projects that was like one of the FOs for this pattern had longer sleeves, I think 3/4 length, and I don't know if I'll have enough yarn to do that. If I do, I might do that. I feel like I'll get more use out of a sweater that doesn't have short sleeves, but we'll see. And also this sweater is not completely cropped, but it's a little bit shorter than I like to wear, so I'm going to definitely lengthen the body, and I'm also going to add some waist shaping, as I generally do, because this one just goes straight down. But kind of a fun pattern to knit. I really struggled with which pattern to cast on. There are so many, and you just get, or I know I get overwhelmed by choice. And so I get paralyzed. I end up not making any choices because there are so many I can't decide. And I look at the yarns I have, and I look at the patterns I want to knit, and nothing will 100% speak to me. I love it when something just reaches out and grabs you. It's like, yes, I'm going to knit that. But that wasn't the case, and so I had some yarns. Even with the yarns for this particular pattern, I had a couple of different sets of yarns sitting out on the coffee table for a few days while I contemplated it, and then I just decided, okay, let's do a little bit of swatching. So I chose the blue, swatched up a few yarns with it, and then decided this was the best one. So yeah, I like how it's knitting up so far. And finally, I was not sure if I was going to take part in the Helen Stewart mystery shawl along this year or not. I wasn't sure if I was really feeling a shawl, and anyway, long story short, I did end up doing it. I went stash diving. You needed four skeins of yarn. Well, if you did I think if you did just a solid version, you needed 3 skeins of fingering weight. If you did the color block version, you needed 4. So I had a set of 3 skeins from Sweet Fiber that I had bought, I think it was last year. And it was the I think it's Super Sweet Sock. By the way, remember me showing you this bag and saying I wanted to keep it for myself? Well, I did. part of the reason is that I found out it is very cost prohibitive to ship this bag to prize winners. And so I did ship one out last month, and I'm afraid I just can't do it again. It doesn't make sense financially for me to do it, sadly. So I decided then that I would keep this one for myself, and then I will gift the other two of this size that I have made to friends or family. In any case, so I had 3 skeins of Sweet Fiber and Sweet Merino Light. So Sweet Fiber is a BC yarn dyer. I'm not sure how well that's showing up there. So I have, this is Sea Glass. That color's showing up really well. This one is Tea Leaves, also showing up very well. Don't know if you can tell on camera, but it has a bit of this blue cast to it. Also, it's green and it's got blue in there. And then this one is Smoke. So it's just a nice silvery gray. So I had those 3, which I knew went together really well. And then I found this skein in my stash. It's from Madeline Tosh. It's their Tosh Merino Light with Hollow Glitter, and the colorway is Beta Crucis, which is a reference to a star. And I thought, oh, this could work because it had like all of these colors in it. However, when I started knitting up the third part of Clue 3 with it, I didn't really like the way it looked in such a variegated yarn. And Helen Stewart does say it works best with a tonal or a solid, but I thought I would try it and see, but I wasn't really happy with it. So as it was, I was sitting there last night and this bag was sitting beside me with the project in it. And in the light, this kind of looked more, well, it has the gray here, and it has the green, and it doesn't have the turquoise, but then I saw the gold with it, and I thought, I wonder if this skein would work with it. So I pulled out, it's another Madeline Tosh, it's a Tosh Merino Light called Jupiter's Moon. I actually got it like on a sale in a yarn shop, so I didn't even pay like the price is there. And it has the greens in it, and I thought maybe that would work. So the only color I wasn't sure about it going with was the gray. But then lots of people talk about how much they love Grello, gray and yellow. Let's see if I can put these all together at once so you can see them. It's always a challenge when you only have 2 hands here. That work? So I'm gonna try and see how that works out, because I think that might be a nice pop of color in there. All right, if you are taking part in the Helen Stewart Mystery Shawl Along and do not want to see any spoilers, I'll warn you right now to look away. I'll try and remember to put a timestamp in here so that you can come back. So fair warning, here I go. I'm going to show what I've done so far, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the pattern. All right, so the pattern is a deep crescent shape, and Clue 1 involves 3 sections with using 3 different skeins of yarn. So here's what have done so far. And then I did the 3rd section. That's what I started in this yarn. But what I've decided is I think I'm going to take out section 2 and substitute this yarn. So it will go the sea glass, and then was it Jupiter's moon? So the turquoise, then the gold, then the dark green, because the dark green is the color that features the most. And this color both begins and ends the shawl. We were told that. So I figure if I go the sea glass, then the Jupiter's moon, then this tea leaves colorway, most likely I'm guessing that the fourth color will come after that. And I like the gray next to this better than next to this. Although, who knows, maybe at some point they're going to end up next to each other, and I'll deal with that when it gets there. But that's my plan right now. I kind of hate to undo everything at the same time. You know, I want to be happy with it when it's done. When I do mystery shawls, I kind of give myself a little bit of insurance anyway, and I don't detach the yarns until I'm really sure about their placement. So I'm not going to have, you know, just a length of yarn that's broken. I can just take it out, wind it back on the skein, and be fine. So yeah, I'm just playing around a little bit. I tend to do this on mystery projects because it's hard to tell until you have them actually knit up and next to each other. And of course you don't even know what's coming next. But that's sort of the plan. So I'm going to try it with this color, then the green, and then we'll see. And if I don't like that, then I don't know. I'm not sure what other options I have. So you'll have to tune in next time to see what I decided. Anyway, I'm going to put them all back in my beautiful bag. I just love this one. And when I have a moment, I'm going to have to wind the new yarn and take it back and start that section over again. By the time I'm finished this clue, there'll be 20% of the shawl done. Okay, that is it for all of my projects. Let's see, life. Let's talk about life. So I finally was able to get the last of my flowers done for this year. I never am this late with them. It's just this year, as I mentioned, it's just been so rainy and cool, and I've kind of been doing the flowers in stages. And so last week I did the ones in our front garden, in our front yard. And then Wednesday, I thought about recording, but it was a nice day and I thought I'd better take advantage of the good weather. And so I went back to the garden shop and I got some flowers for the containers that I have in the front garden that's closer to the house. And then I planted some zinnias in that garden also. And then I got some bedding plants for the remainder of my hummingbird, bee, and butterfly garden, which I can look at from this window here. It's alongside our patio. And then I had planned, we got a new shed put in, not last spring, or maybe it was last spring. Yeah, I think it was last spring, and it had one coat of paint put on, but I need to add another coat of paint. And again, just have not been able to do it this year because we haven't had the weather, and so I finally decided, okay, it's not happening this spring either. And so I went ahead and got some bedding plants for the flower plant, or the window planters that are on the shed. And so I got those in. That was the last thing that had to be done. I got that in yesterday morning before the rain started. I ran out of time on Wednesday, and so I had a guy coming to put in a new hot water heater yesterday, and so I got up early and went out in the backyard before he got here and planted those in the window boxes. So now all my flowers are in place between all my planters and the various gardens. and we'll see how they do. One method to my madness was let's get them in on Wednesday, because I knew that we had a lot of rain coming over the next few days, and so that should hopefully give them all a good start. I really haven't even had to water the gardens this year at all because we've had so much rain. So on one hand, we're saving on water. On the other hand, we haven't been able to spend a ton of time outside enjoying them. Speaking of weather, so we did have a nice Saturday, which was great because it was ball tournament weekend. So Cameron's team had 3 games to play on Saturday, and then depending on where they placed on Saturday would depend which games they had to play on Sunday. So it turned out way better than anyone thought it would. Actually got a sunburn, you know, if you can see here. I had put sunscreen everywhere except here. Somehow missed it, and by the end of the day, just from sitting out in the sun for about, I don't know, just over an hour, I guess, I was quite red here. It's not as red as it was, but you can still see it, I think, on camera. Just a silly mistake on my part. Here I thought I was so smart putting sunscreen on. Apparently not that smart. Anyway, Saturday's games went really well. Cameron's team won all of them, which meant that they did not have to play again until 2:30 on Sunday. So the weather for Sunday was supposed to be really bad. As it turned out, it wasn't as bad as they'd predicted, and the team was just finishing up its game when the rain really started to come down. And if they had won that game, they would play the winner of the other, I don't know what you call it, bracket, that might be the right word, playoff for the top spot in our division for the tournament. If they lost, they were done. Well, they lost. And nobody was too unhappy about it because the rain just started to come down like crazy. And so those 2 teams had to play, and a bunch of us just sat undercover in the beer garden, and we were perfectly happy to be doing that. Have a drink, have a visit, and stay dry because it just bucketed down. But yeah, just a good fun weekend overall. We haven't had a ball tournament now. I guess it's been over 2 years, almost 3 years, I think, since we'd had one. So it was fun. Definitely a fun weekend. And then on Saturday night, it was our older son's birthday, and so quite often when we have a ball tournament weekend, we end up gathering at someone's home for a barbecue, and it just didn't come together this time. And so Cameron and I decided we were going to go out and eat, and then our son had mentioned that he and his wife were going to go to this pub for dinner. So got in touch with him and asked if they were there yet, or when they were going, and if would we be crashing the party if we came. And as it turned out, they were meeting at about 7 o'clock, and our other son and his good friend were coming too, and they're like, no, more the merrier. So we joined them for supper, and then it was karaoke night. I guess not usually at that pub on Saturday nights, but it was that night. And so our younger son is in a band with the friend that he came with. And so they each did, I think Colin sang a couple different numbers. Oh, and then his friend did one on his own, and then he did one with our other son too. So we were sitting sort of upstairs looking right over the stage. So it was kind of fun. I always enjoy, I enjoy hearing our younger son sing. Our older son will admit freely that he's not the best singer in the world, but he was having fun. It was his birthday, and you know, he just did it more for fun. But our younger son, he's actually got quite a nice voice and does a good job. So proud mama always likes to hear him sing. yeah, I think that's it for what's been going on. So that leads us to something good. And until just before I recorded, I had one something good written down, but then I had to add another one because I finally have seen a hummingbird this year. I was setting things up here and I looked out and I saw a hummingbird at one of the planters next to our swing out there on our patio, and it just went from flower to flower to flower for quite a long time. And I was like, yes, finally. Normally by this time of year, we've got hummingbirds regularly visiting our garden and our feeders, and we have not seen one yet. So yay for the hummingbird, yay for the hummingbird. I texted my husband and he immediately phoned me back to say, wow, isn't that cool? Because we've been wondering where they are. I've got some of the perennials are starting to bloom that they like, and surprised not to see them there. And all the planters have been out for a while. I've had feeders all year round and just haven't seen them. So yay, they're back, or at least one's back, at least paid one visit. We'll see. Hopefully that means we'll see it more often. For you, it's just a millisecond later, but for me, it's quite some time later, and you might notice a difference in the lighting. In any case, it is time for my second something good, which is actually my original something good that I had planned for this episode. As many of you are aware, it is Queen Elizabeth's 70th year on the throne, and there have been Jubilee celebrations being held in various Commonwealth countries, including probably the most prominent ones, which recently took place in the UK. So one of the ways that Canada is marking the occasion is they are awarding 70 people in each federal electoral district with a Jubilee pin to honor their service. Citizens were asked to nominate people they thought were deserving of this honor, and my mom was chosen as one of them. So a little bit of background. My mom has been a volunteer all her life, but there's been one project that's probably taken the most time and attention over the past 10 years. And that is as a member of a board seeking to establish an assisted living facility in their little village. All of their hard work finally came to fruition, and the center opened its doors last fall. So my mom had nominated the head of this committee and happened to be with her when she got the phone call telling her that she was going to receive one of these pins and inviting her to the ceremony. So when my mom got home later and found a message on her machine to call her MP's office, which is the Member of Parliament, oh, I see the hummingbird at my plant right there. I'm going to see if I can capture it for you. That plant is called a Maltese cross. They like the red. Oh, it's landed there on the honeysuckle, which is not in bloom yet. Oh, back to the Maltese cross. Oh, I'm so happy to see it. I hope you're enjoying it too. It amazes me that they can just fly for so long. Well, that was an unexpected bonus, and actually after it flew away from this garden, it went back to the planter it was at this morning, and then I saw a second hummingbird and they had a little battle, and I actually see one coming back here. Oh, that makes me so happy. In any case, where was I? Yes, so my mom was with the head of the committee when she got her invitation to the ceremony, and when she got home and had a message to call the MP's office, which stands for Member of Parliament, don't know if that's got out or not, she just assumed it was to let her know that her nominee was going to receive this pin. But as it turned out, she was also selected to receive one. And what they didn't know at the time, but found out later, is she nominated the head of the committee, and the head of the committee nominated her. So I think it's actually, they're both very deserving of it. I know how much time and effort my mom and her have put into this project. So the ceremony is on Sunday, and I am going to go and be my mom's guest at it. And then we are going to stay overnight because it's about a 3-hour drive for me, and it's about an hour and a half from where my mom lives, where the ceremony will be. So she'll catch a ride with her committee head, her friend, and then I will meet her there. And then my mom has appointments in that same city the next day, and so I'll get her to those, and then we'll drive back here because my nephew and his wife, who got married a year ago, January, during COVID, are finally able to have a celebration and invite everyone to, to celebrate with them, and that's taking place next Wednesday. So I'm going to have my mom here for a few days. So that's looking forward to being witness to her receiving this pin and being honored. And then we'll have a good time hanging out overnight. And I think we're going to have dinner with her friend's family. And then, yeah, she'll stay here for a few days. So as a result, there will not be an episode next week. There just isn't going to be time, but I'm sure you understand. And with that, I had better say goodbye because it is no longer morning. It is 2:30 in the afternoon, and I want to try and get this edited and uploaded before Cameron gets home from work, because it's Friday night, so it's appy night. So we'll have appetizers for dinner and some wine, and looking forward to kicking off the weekend. So I hope all of you are well and that you have a good weekend ahead of you. Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for all of your messages. Oh, now there's another bird, but it's not a hummingbird, it's just a sparrow. They don't count. They're a dime a dozen. I guess they're important to their own sparrow families, but I'm a little biased towards the hummingbirds myself. Anyway, have a wonderful week or so ahead, and I hope to talk to you again very soon. Bye for now.